Hollywood stars Tisha Campbell and Dwayne Martin have officially wrapped up their divorce, as detailed in a judgment acquired by People magazine. Filed with the Los Angeles Superior Court, the final decree has reinstated both parties to single status. Tisha, reflecting on their 20-year marriage, shared her contentment, stating, "I am blessed with 2 wonderful children, and beyond that, I am the happiest I've ever been." She also revealed that she has reverted to her maiden name Campbell, having hyphenated it to Campbell Martin. If there's one relationship where fans wish they could have been a fly on the wall, it's got to be the one between Martin and Gina, aka Martin Lawrence, and Tisha Campbell.
Not in the same room. They couldn't even. I don't think they couldn't even be on the lot at Universal. You know, if Martin was on Universal lot, she couldn't be there. If she was there, he couldn't be there. So I knew that much.
But what's the real story here? Did Martin really harass Tisha verbally, physically, sexually, and emotionally during the filming of Martin? Tisha has made some shocking claims, but is she telling the whole truth? And what role did her ex-husband Dwayne Martin play in all of this? Stick around as we dive into the drama and uncover the juicy details. Back in 1997, Tisha Campbell dropped a bombshell lawsuit against Martin Lawrence, accusing him of harassment both on and off the screen. The details she revealed were pretty nasty. She accused Martin of battery and verbal mistreatment, claiming he would yell and threaten her on set. The allegations didn't stop there. Tisha said Martin had unnecessary outbursts, groped her during bed scenes, and even attempted to kiss her with tongue. The list of grievances goes on, painting a shocking picture of what went down behind the scenes. That part about Martin having outbursts wouldn't surprise some people, especially considering his history. Back in 1996, he was arrested after being found wandering the streets of LA, brandishing a gun and screaming, "They're trying to kill me!" According to one witness, Martin also yelled, "Fight! Don't give up! Fight the power!" Allegedly, around the same time, Martin forced his way into his ex-wife's hotel room and threatened to take her life and the lives of her family members while displaying a firearm. With a past like that, the allegations from Tisha Campbell start to paint an even more troubling picture of Martin's behavior on set. He became so enraged and out of control that he kicked and broke a marble tile wall next to her hotel room. Immediately after Tisha's lawsuit was made public, Martin Lawrence released a statement denying all her charges, suggesting he was just being put in the middle of her dispute with HBO. His statement read, "Martin Lawrence regrets that he is being used as a pawn in a contract dispute between Tisha Campbell and HBO." Martin tried to paint the situation as a simple contractual disagreement, but with his volatile history, it's hard to dismiss Tisha's claims entirely. So, what's the real story? How deep does this rabbit hole go? Stick around as we uncover more details about the tumultuous relationship between Martin Lawrence and Tisha Campbell and the role her ex-husband Dwayne Martin might have played in it all. Martin has long been Tisha's champion and protector and is thus deeply hurt by these allegations. There is no merit to the lawsuit, and it will be vigorously defended. Tisha also settled the lawsuit just 4 months later and returned to the set in April 1997 to film the show's final 2 episodes. But under one unusual condition, Martin wasn't allowed on the set when Tisha was filming. Imagine that. A show where the 2 main stars couldn't even be on set together. It speaks volumes about the intensity of the situation. So, what really went down between Martin and Tisha, and how did her ex-husband Dwayne Martin fit into this messy picture? Stay tuned as we dive deeper into the secrets, accusations, and shocking revelations that turned this on-screen couple's relationship into one of Hollywood's most scandalous stories. And in the final 1-hour episode, the writers and editors had to pull off a tricky illusion. They had to make Martin and Tisha look like a loving couple on screen, even though they were never in the same room. Like, ever. The filming must have been incredibly awkward, and if the sexual harassment allegations are true, you can only imagine how uncomfortable that must have been for Tisha, especially as a survivor of childhood sexual assault. The tension must have been palpable on set. How did they manage to make it work? What lengths did the crew have to go to keep these two apart while still delivering a believable performance? This story is not just about a popular TV show. It's about the real, raw, and often ugly truths that can lie behind the scenes in Hollywood. Stick around as we unravel the complex web of accusations, denials, and the eventual fallout from this scandalous chapter in TV history. Tisha Campbell didn't just stop at general accusations. She got incredibly graphic about her past trauma. She revealed disturbing details about how a babysitter forced her to undress and took advantage of her. The worst part? No one consulted her at the time because they assumed she was too young to remember. Now, considering what she went through, it's absolutely chilling to think about the horror she would have experienced if Martin Lawrence's behavior during Martin matched the harrowing details she described in her lawsuit. Just imagine the emotional and psychological impact on her if those claims were true. It must have felt like she was trapped in a nightmare, constantly reliving her past trauma. Despite the severity of her allegations, Martin Lawrence has consistently denied everything. In a 2020 interview with Zach Baron for GQ, Martin dismissed the lawsuit as a bunch of BS. When Baron asked if he and Tisha ever discussed the lawsuit, Martin simply replied, "We don't need to talk about something that just didn't happen." So, Tisha Campbell decided to walk away from the show, opting to leave rather than stay in an environment that felt toxic. Despite rumors that she was canceled, Tisha clarified that her departure was a personal decision. This move led many to speculate that Martin Lawrence was avoiding acknowledging the serious allegations against him. Allegedly, Tisha reached out to Martin right after reading his interview, hoping to address the situation directly. Tisha Campbell mentioned that she couldn't delve into specifics about the past due to a confidentiality agreement in a gag order that prevented her from discussing the details. She revealed that Martin Lawrence had contacted her, advising her not to take the interview too seriously, suggesting that people were merely trying to stir up old issues. Despite the turmoil, Tisha stated in a 2022 CBS Mornings interview that she and Martin had moved past their issues and were on better terms. Tisha revealed on an episode of The Real that Martin reached out to her unexpectedly after her split from her longtime husband, Twain Martin, without knowing about her separation. This gesture was significant for Tisha and helped her feel reassured about their relationship.
And this is how I knew that things were going to be okay. Martin called me the day after I separated to just reconnect.
Given the severity of the harassment allegations in Tisha's lawsuit, claims that included verbal, physical, and emotional abuse, it seems almost impossible for most people to reconcile and work with someone who caused them such trauma. If someone had subjected me to the kind of mistreatment Tisha described, I would likely find it extremely challenging to work with them again, regardless of any subsequent gestures or reconciliations. Absolutely. Forgiveness is a complex and deeply personal process, and being around someone who has caused significant trauma can be an entirely different matter. Even if Tisha expressed willingness to participate in a Martin reboot, it's natural for people to question how genuine the reconciliation is, especially given the serious allegations and the pain involved. It's important to respect Tisha's experiences and decisions, but it's also understandable that people would be curious and speculative about how someone could move past such intense allegations and work with the person involved. The public's skepticism is a reflection of the complexity of healing and forgiveness in such situations. One theory that emerged was that Tisha Campbell might have exaggerated the truth, but if she did, it's hard to see how given the specifics laid out in her lawsuit. Let's break it down a bit. According to the lawsuit, the issue started to surface during the second season of Martin. Allegedly, Martin Lawrence's behavior during rehearsals and taping became increasingly erratic and volatile. Martin Lawrence's behavior allegedly escalated during the show's third season. Reports say he would frequently erupt into uncontrollable fits of rage without any clear cause. Martin was said to threaten Tisha and others on set in frightening and aggressive tones, warning them that if he didn't get his way, they would regret it. The intimidation continued, with Martin reportedly screaming and raging at Tisha and her colleagues, threatening their jobs and causing significant distress. Allegedly, Martin Lawrence humiliated Tisha Campbell in front of the entire cast and crew so frequently that the stress eventually led her to be hospitalized. Despite her numerous complaints, none of the crew came to her aid. As if things couldn't get worse, by the 4th season, Martin's mood swings reportedly became so terrifying that Tisha felt compelled to install a lock on her dressing room door by the beginning of the 5th season to protect herself. The lawsuit claimed that Martin Lawrence was spiraling out of control, leading Tisha Campbell to request that the writers stop including scenes where she had to be in bed with him to avoid further conflict and distress. These are serious allegations and not something one would typically fabricate. However, there have been speculations that there might be more to the story. Some have suggested that Tisha and Martin might have had a friends with benefits relationship, which could have added another layer to the drama between them. But then things took a turn. It's alleged that Martin became jealous of Tisha's relationship with her then husband, Dwayne Martin, and that this jealousy contributed to his erratic behavior. Adding another layer of complexity, there are rumors suggesting that Dwayne Martin might have influenced Tisha to file the harassment claims against Martin. The theory is that Tisha could have been trying to save face and maintain her relationship with Dwayne, leading her to hint at ongoing harassment from Martin as a way to justify her actions and protect her marriage. It's a fascinating and complicated situation, isn't it? The inconsistencies and various angles really make you wonder about the full story between Tisha and Martin. On one hand, Tisha's detailed lawsuit and her experiences on set paint a troubling picture. But then, the rumors about her wanting more money, her relationship with Dwayne, and the fact that some of her closest friends maintain ties with Martin complicate things even further. It's possible that Tisha and Martin did find a way to reconcile after time and healing, and people can and do work through their traumas in different ways. The allegations and the way Tisha and Martin have interacted since the lawsuit definitely raise questions. Did she exaggerate her claims? Or was there a genuine reason for her discomfort? It's tough to say for sure, but it's clear that there's more beneath the surface. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Do you think Tisha's account of the harassment was exaggerated? Or do you believe she was genuinely trying to navigate a tough situation? Let's discuss in the comments below.